Hi guys, this week for Fan Choice Friday, we're going to be working on this Art Deco inspired water marble as suggested by Minyi Buddha Guillaume. And I apologize if I mispronounce that. But out of the several colors she suggested, I decided to go with silver, black, purple, and magenta. I didn't really know too much about Art Deco, so I did a Google search, and if you'd like to see the specific images that really inspired me, I've included a couple links down in the information box. And if you'd like to see how I did this, just stay tuned. To start out, I'm going to be applying a base coat. I'm using Ready for Takeoff, and of course you can use whichever you prefer. And just as a note for upcoming stuff, I've had questions of what regular base coat I'm going to replace my favorite gripper with. And I'm actually going to be trying Unt's, or is it Unt? I don't know. I'm going to be trying their regular base coat sometime soon. I ordered a bottle, so eventually I'll let you guys know what I think of that. Now that my base coat is dry, for my base color today, I'm going to be using China Glaze Icicle. However, in the marble, that was not working out very well, so I'm going to peek through with a clear. For my clear, I'm using China Glaze Matte Magic, and then I'll also be using Liquid Leather, Let's Groove, and Reggae to Riches. And I actually did a lot of testing with this manicure. So if you're interested to see some of the other options that I discarded, be sure to stay tuned at the very end of the video. And as usual, I'll be showing you guys some of my test swatches. I'm gonna go ahead and build my bullseye. And as usual, I am working in a 5-ounce paper cup filled with room temperature filtered water. And just as a note, I did do 2 coats of my base color. Usually it doesn't matter if the base color is a little streaky, just as long as the marble has something to build on. But in this case, it will be showing through, so I wanted to make sure that it was completely opaque. So now that my bullseye is built, I want to make sure to let that center drop spread out all the way. You don't want it still moving when you're actually drawing in it. And then I'm going to draw in what I'm kind of thinking of as a feather design, similar to a flower in that you're going for kind of petal shapes, but rather than going around the whole cup, this is all kind of coming from the same area and getting dragged in the same direction. And since I'm only dipping one nail at a time today, you don't have to fill up the whole cup. Just make sure there's enough for the nail that you've decided to do. So now that I've got that done, I'm going to turn this just a bit to make it easier to dip. And I'm going to line up the point toward the tip of my finger. Just make sure I'm as straight as I can be on that design, and then dip in. Want to reach in and clean up all the excess so that it doesn't stick on your design. And once the surface is clean, you can go ahead and slowly pull out, and there's the marble. So one of the things that I really like about Simply Peel is that it removes just about as easily with wet, fresh polish, like that nail, or with polish that's kind of started to dry, like on this nail here. You can see the polish is actually almost breaking up, but the Simply Peel still comes off in one piece, like no big deal, as Simply Nailogical would say. And I'm going to finish cleaning up around the edges. Then I'll be topping everything off with Seche Vite. So here's the finished manicure, and I think this is not only my favorite Fan's Choice so far, I think it's also my new favorite for the whole month. That said, I still did find a couple things to nitpick, not even things that I necessarily dislike, but just inconsistencies. My right hand is a little bit shorter than my left right now, and so I got some nails, like most of the nails on my left have some silver at the cuticle, but several of the ones on my right do not. And I actually don't know which one I prefer. I mean, this would probably be my favorite with silver and without. So I don't know, if I were doing it again, I would try to be just a little bit more mindful to keep things consistent on all the nails. To give you guys a look at a couple of my test strips, this is with kind of a weird gold I was trying, and with the silver in the marble. I think that's maybe a little bit hard to see, but it was just getting very messy. And you can see here on the outside, the fuchsia was much more pink. In the finished manicure, it blended a lot more with the purple. And I kind of went back and forth on whether I liked that or whether I didn't. I also came very close to including a turquoise, but the metallic turquoise that I really liked was kind of overspreading. And so aside from that, it was also making the lines kind of wavy and not as smooth as I wanted. I tried, a couple different orders of dripping them. This one actually turned out okay, but was kind of blurry in the middle. Then I thought about, just using it in the middle so that it was, it didn't have as much of a chance to interfere with the other colors, or just on the outside. And I liked both of those too, but it's not quite what I ended up going with. So I actually have a ton more other test strips, and maybe when I one day eventually get around to doing a blog post on this, I'll show even more of them and go into a little bit more detail of my testing. But like I mentioned at the beginning, if you'd like to see the specific Art Deco pictures that inspired me, I've included links down in the information box. I don't know that I completely succeeded in capturing it, but it was definitely my inspiration. And I would love to hear down in the comments what you guys think of this one. Like I said, I think it's my new favorite so far. So I hope you guys all enjoyed. And as always, thanks for watching.